Hello, my fellow pagans and members of alternative religions. I'm Dottie, Metro Valley Pagan Pride president. I'm also neurodivergent, and I'm trying to do this in one take, so bear with me. I wanted to talk a little bit about what Metro Valley Pagan Pride is, about our event, September 16th in Valley Park, Hurricane, from 11 to 6. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a great time. And we'll talk about some of the noise that has gone on behind the scenes. But first, I would like to talk about the origins of Metro Valley Pagan Pride and why it is important to the people that are invested in it. Some people out there will still remember Colin. He passed away. It's been a year now that he passed away. And he died right before his event, which was Charleston Pagan Pride. And when he passed away, his event did not happen. There were also protesters at his first event in 2019. And if you want to watch that video, it's still up on my personal YouTube channel, Dottie the Psychic. It's still one of my top viewed videos, which just goes to show that we all love a little bit of drama. Not judging, just saying. But that event really did solidify part of the community that had not really been solidified before. We started to come, because as a community, we have a tendency to gather around events. And we can be ourselves and out and proud just once in a while. We go to these little things, the little meetups. But honestly, we're pagan every day of the year. So after he passed and that event had not happened, the whole community was stunned and we felt that void. And so a group of us, the now council, we've been gathering slowly, took on that project. But when we took it on, we did not want to just simply leave it as an event. Because Colin had started that event in order to solidify the community, and we wanted to take it that next step and actually build pagan-based programming. We've got a couple of ladies working on family programming, not just children's programming, but family programming. We're thinking about doing a family camp. And, instead of just a kids camp, make it a family camp. And, we actually have a real pamphlet. Thank you, Robin and Shannon. This was a joint effort between the three of us, and it basically goes through and talks about some of the different types of paganism there is in our area. People who practice different kinds of paganism. There's also a little bit about the Wheel of the Year, the holidays, and I can't remember what the other section was about. What was the other section? I'm screwing that up. Oh well. Types of pagans. Oh, common pagan sayings and symbols. So, if you've got one of these pamphlets, you can kind of work your way through the pagan community, at least understand the lingo. And that's a very proud project. We've put a lot of effort into that. Robin especially, because she did a bulk of the writing. But that was a group project, and it's awesome. And that's the kind of thing we want to see. We want to bring people together. Now is the time for us to all come together and build our community. If you wanted to see programming for the pagan community, get on board. I have talked to somebody about maybe starting up a few recovery groups in the area. Small at first. And of course, Donna Dover's still doing her thing through Appalachian Pagan Ministry. We want to help promote her and all the other people who, metaphysical professionals. This is a community effort, and we want to see how we can do. Let's make it a real thing together. So, with that spirit, we did also want to have an event. That was, honestly, we had decided we wanted an event before this thing had kind of blown up into a full-scale nonprofit organization. So, we got the contract back in March. February, March. Somewhere in there. We got this site a long time ago, and honestly, we went through and looked to try and find the best location for the amount of people we want to have and the type of event we want to have. We kind of wanted to have it away from the road. There had to be enough space. We wanted to have a shelter there for, and we wanted to have, accessibility for people with disabilities. And so we found Valley Park and Hurricane. It's a great location. It's halfway between Huntington and Charleston. It has a nice open field. There's a mountain there to kind of keep us away from the normies. The normies? That's where we're going with this? No. The public. So, we picked this site thinking that would be everything we needed. Short of actually setting up on somebody's private property, we could send people there that were total strangers, that we could advertise outside of just this small insular community, because there's a lot of pagans who feel very alone because they don't know we exist. I get a lot of people who are just finding their way in because they reach out to psychics. They reach out to pagan businesses. But this one, we wanted to make it bigger. So we made flyers, and we've reached out. And that has been an experience. I will end this by telling you all the good things that we're planning on working on for this event, but I want to get the noise out of the way, honestly, because it did get to me. It did get to me, and I'm embarrassed about that, because I did end up snapping on somebody who may or may not have been asking an honest question, but as the president of Metro Valley Pagan Pride, I may not have acted appropriately. This all started, at least for me, I'll tell you, when I first heard about everything was Sunday. Today is Thursday. So, Sunday, about 1 o'clock, one of the entertainers sent me a link talking about the town ordinance meeting and asking what this meant for them. Was the first I'd heard of it. I knew that they had passed an ordinance in the unincorporated areas that had something to do with adult entertainment that was poorly written and just literally didn't do anything. You couldn't do the things that it was ordinancing against anyway. And it was pretty obviously in response to Putnam County Pride. So, but it we'll just call it the adult entertainment ordinance. That is how I am going to refer to it. It is the article number is Article 517.09. So if you want to look it up, I'm going to try and link it below. So I will link an article below about it. But West Virginia Watch, hurricane law restricts minors from attending adult live performances. That's the article. I will tell you why. This is such a pain in the butt. So this is one half of the story. This is one part of the drama, and then there is another part of the drama that I will talk about in a minute that is separate. The problem with this ordinance was that it was directly in response to Putnam County Pride. And because if you watch the live stream they did of that meeting, you will know that the church that is in the local church was very much trying to get them to ban men dressing as women. They said it very plainly in the meeting. This is not just an LGBT issue. This is a separation of church and state issue. But the county commission and the Hurricane City Council both know to check with their lawyers before they start making ordinances like such. And all the ordinances ended up doing was restating the public decency laws. You know, it is literally like, don't take your top off, keep no lewd sex acts in front of kids, no simulated sex acts in front of kids. No, I think you have to, I don't even think it says anything about watching your language. I'd have to go back and look. But when I called the police department to see how this would affect our drag show coming up on the 16th, because we are having, as part of our entertainment, a family-friendly drag show, it's not a small part of our entertainment, but it's certainly not the only part of our entertainment. We have quite a few entertainers, but the person we only had one drag queen at one point, and I wasn't going to let her just take a swan dive. So I called the police department after this ordinance passed and asked them how it would be applied to the public. And they basically said it's just like any other public decency law. Just keep your tops and your bottoms covered and don't scream profanity. And there's some, basic decency. You're not going to wave around adult toys in front of kids. It's not... But I've been stressing out about this because this group of people, like, literally, I went to that meeting to speak against the bill because it was a very obvious move against because of the timing and the comments that were made during the ordinance hearing were very transphobic, were very much against the LGBT. And that's the problem with it. It was intended to scare us. But legally, they can't do what they want to do. They just can't. And honestly, I don't think that... I think that if they could, the town may not have passed it, because it really, in those meetings, felt like those commissioners just wanted everybody to go away. And I can't say as I blame them, because I went to that meeting and this guy got up and read 3 minutes of scripture about how, honestly, I think I lost the plot well, he lost the plot a long time ago, but I, like, of what he was actually reading, I know something, men lying with men and women lying, some clobber verse, but he read, like, the whole section, how it all starts with just little things, and putting your kids' souls in eternal danger. Just, I don't know, lewd behavior and other obscenity. Like, if you're Christian out there and you're watching this, would you please say something to these people? Or at least just disavow them, like, you know, I'm not saying, you know, not all Christians, but just call them heretics. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them heretics, because I know some good Christians who do not deserve this level of... And I know that these kind of people would turn on them just as fast as they turn on me. And that's part of the thing. That this is really just an attempt to scare the shit out of us. Pardon my language. It was literally just to cause strife. And it did, and I'm embarrassed. But it literally has no actual effect on what we're going to do. And that's part of why I had to call the police department to find out. But the police department was very kind. And the site director has been very kind, and they are... The police department has agreed to do random checks on us throughout the day, and if they have a problem that then needs to be dealt with, they said that they would talk to me first and have me take care of it so that it doesn't get to that point. But they don't care about the drag queens. Like, they don't care. The other reason, part of the reason that they're going to do regular checks on us is because of the other thing that happened Sunday. I found out about this when one of our group members, one of the people from the Facebook group, Metro Valley Pagan Pride Facebook group, sent me a screenshot of a picture of a letter that distilled our flyer down to what would be the most I guess scary, insightful. I don't know. It's scary. We'll go with scary, because that's just about as much as this. Whatever, man. I ain't got the words for it. So, this letter, somebody, I don't know who, took this letter and posted it on church doors in the area where we're going to have our event. One of the... And of course, then Facebook does the Facebook thing. She'd found it from Facebook, because somebody she knew had reposted it. So I have no idea how long this thing has been just flying through the ether. But it was long enough for at least one preacher that I watched had a prepared sermon about how evil and how we were spreading evil and evil. I'm sorry. I can't be respectful right now. They made me mad. So that flew around. And of course, because that kind of started a panic, because some of the things that these people were saying were inflammatory. Some of them were just scared. Like, these people are genuinely scared that we're going to corrupt their children. I'm like, you don't need our help, lady. You need a therapist. I'm not mocking mental health. I mean, these people are really just genuinely that panicky. And then that panic has leaked it over into my community, because some of the things that people were saying, like, let's get this event canceled. I did screenshot one particularly scary post that was not exactly threatening to set us on fire, but had something about God's going to set us on fire. It's people be stupid online. That's just how it is. It's exhausting. That's that drama. So we had planned from that from the beginning. I honestly had totally expected this. Because here's the thing. They are just talking online. Some of them got brave enough to actually call the site director, but nobody showed up. And they didn't even have any protesters at Pride. So, protesters have been down all over the state. If protesters were that bad, June would have been a bloodbath. But for the most part, actual physical protesting is way, way down. And there's no reason to believe that it's going to be worse than Pride. For one thing, the police have agreed to swing through the area and check on us. They cannot impede us. There's it's an event, but we crossed all our T's and dotted all our I's, folks. We have security. We have made plans for this since the beginning. We know about the crazy Christians, and honestly, I think I was personally more shocked that because I am an empath. I'm a professional psychic, so sometimes I will pick up on other people's panic, and it feels like my own, and that's kind of what happened, because I knew this was going to happen. Think about it. We all kind of knew something like this was going to happen. We've been preparing for this from the beginning. So that's that drama. At the end of the day, it amounts to literally nothing and does not affect us at all. And that's the part I want to drive home. Of all that drama, none of it is going to make a difference on the day of the event, because we were already going to have security. I had already made sure our permits were signed. And except for the police agreeing to check on us randomly through the day, that's the only difference. That's the only difference. And the fact that we have now seen the people who may show up, but most of them are probably pretty cowardly. It's a lot easier to scream Bible verses at a bunch of old people who are just going to pass a law to shut you up than it is to actually look in our faces. Just is what it is. That being said, I don't antagonize. If we do have protesters, ignore them unless they're acting bad. Then feel free to videotape them and send it to me, because I do love me a good Karen moment, and I have every intentions of prosecuting if they do something illegal. Every T, every I. Now that we are a full 20 minutes in, let's talk about the event itself, because an amazing crew has been working on this for a long time, and I think we hit every note for a perfect event. We have a hot dog and bake sale, because we were going to have Tickers and Timbers, and I want to address that real quick. They had to back out because of internal issues, not because of whatever. I will still totally go there. There was just some things that happened that they couldn't make it. It happens. So they gave us enough warning that we were able to do a hot dog and baked goods sale. Ta-da! So should be awesome. We're also going to be because we'll be selling the hot dogs and baked goods right about the same place that we got patches with their logo on it. A little bit of merch here and there. It should be a really good time. So I'm just going to go through tables. I'm going through the site in my mind, so bear with me, folks. It is a jumble up there. We have kids activities throughout the day. That's not my project. That was somebody else's project, but I think they were talking about doing age-appropriate kits. So smaller children would have less complicated arts and crafts project, where the older kids might have a more advanced arts and crafts project. they were spitting ideas back and forth so fast that I honestly couldn't pick up on them, and I don't know which ones they actually went with. So I'll be as surprised as you all, but I'm very excited about kids' activities. I may have to go spend some time at kids' activities. If these people show up, if these protesters show up, I'm going to be at kids' activities. Because, no. Anyway, there is also a playground. And so if you come with your kid, make sure you go to the info booth and get a little green bracelet so it has your name and your phone number on it. And if that kid gets lost, or you for some reason get separated, we don't want the kid telling everybody their name. We'll just read your name and your phone number and call you. So bring your kids. I'm excited. We've also got so many. The next table is the ancestral veneration table. So we're going to be doing something for our ancestors, especially Colin. Rose is going to bring some of his stuff so that we can honor him, since he's kind of the grandfather of this event. And you'll have an opportunity to send prayers to your ancestors through that area. We have so many people signed up to do classes that we had to open up 2 tables. So we're running congruent classes. And we've got a little bit of everything from advanced to beginner to social issues. Like we've got like a suicide prevention class. We've got a 12-step recovery for Pagan's class. We have Runes 101, Paganism 101, a discussion. We have a friend of mine is doing an elemental wheel class that may be more advanced than you'd think. I know somebody, as an experienced practitioner, it's kind of hard to listen to somebody prattle on about the elements, but she is teaching an advanced class. This is not something that somebody who had just picked up a book is probably going to understand. So we actually have a couple of advanced classes. That should be interesting. A lot of beginners classes, but some really advanced classes. And so that's that area. And then we move out into the entertainment area, where we will have family-friendly drag. We're going to have belly dancers and fire eaters and our council induction, where we're going to kind of introduce this year's heads of council, or I don't know how that's exactly going to go. And it's too late to edit it out. I don't want to edit this thing. Sorry. I'll clean it up next time. Anyway, we're going to have a community drumming circle. Michelle from Hearth Obscura Charmworks is actually going to lead a drum circle, and she does a great job. She's going to, and so bring your drum, and we will dance and we will sing, and we will enjoy our day. And after the drumming circle, we have a fairly well-known singer coming. Miss Ann Wolf has agreed to come to our event. And then we've got some of the finest vendors showing up at our event. And I just want to tell you, because I've gone to events. Some of you may have met me through events, because I set up events. I work at events. So I've worked with a lot of these people. And the amount of handmade goods, you could probably get all the supplies you need for your magical workings at this event. Unless you're looking for something stupid specific. Like, I don't know that we're going to find an onyx mirror there. But, short of a hand of glory, you can find just about anything you need. Some of that stuff's obscure. You can't guarantee anything with magic. But for the rest of us, most everybody, especially beginners, are going to be able to find everything they need to do magic at this event. And I am really proud of the people who have been such an important part of this experience and the beginning of Metro Valley Pagan Pride. This event is the time to get involved in the organization. I'm honored. I'm really honored to be a part of this. So I think that's everything for now. Took about half an hour. I'm going to end with my tagline because I can. Safe travel and much profit to you.